Today I want to show you our tiny storage room that I turned into a fully functional YouTube studio / home office desk area. This setup in a super small 2x2 meter area allows me to easily start shooting videos for YouTube, create thumbnails and product shots, edit content, and store all my gear. Now, I'm a pretty budget-minded person, so a lot of the things that I'll be sharing are budget options or DIY ideas, but I will also leave links to all the gear and things that I talk about down in the description, so you can go check it out if you're interested. So let's first take a look at the room itself. The entire room is 2 meters wide and about 4 meters long, and it was actually meant as a storage room in our apartment. My YouTube studio / desk area only takes up half of the room because the rest of the room is still being used as storage space. That means I have about 2 by 2 meters of space to work with, so very small. And one thing you would never notice in these videos is that there's actually a window behind me here, but as you can see, it doesn't look that nice, so whenever I'm shooting a video, I cover it up with this frame. For sound treatment, I have a set of DIY sound panels on the wall, and they're a very cheap option with pretty good results. Of course, in a small space like this, there isn't that much sound treatment needed, but I do find that these make a slight difference. Sound panels. No sound panels. Sound panels. No sound panels. To make these, I bought some sound panels on Amazon and glued them on the back panel of a picture frame. That allows me to just hang the sound panel like a picture frame, and I can also easily take them down. Besides that, I just had to drill one hole per sound panel instead of having to attach all of these sound panels separately to the wall. I do have a few separate ones in the corner here, and the one behind my monitor is not really meant to do any sound treatment, but serves more as a textured backdrop for product shots. Alright, next let's move on to the most important part of this studio, and that is the desk itself. So the desk is basically where the entire studio lives on, and I could essentially move this desk into a different room and I would have everything ready and set to record and edit videos. So the desk itself is a simple IKEA tabletop, and on one side I have some very basic table legs, and on the other side I have the IKEA Alex drawers. And I'll show you why this kind of awkward cable is here by the end of the video when I talk more about everything that's inside these drawers. Now, the desk is only 1.20 meters wide, so even with these basic table legs and all the stuff that I have mounted on here, it's not too wiggly. The main component on this desk is the 6-in-1 desk mount by Viazon. I got this desk mount because I needed a compact solution for mounting my light, my camera, and my microphone. But the best thing about it is that it's so incredibly affordable for how versatile and good quality it is. Most of these parts are made out of metal and just very solid. It would be nearly impossible to have different stands for lights, microphone, and camera in this tiny room. So it's extremely useful that I can essentially rig an entire recording setup to this one mount. Having everything mounted and ready to go makes it so much easier to start shooting a video. It literally takes me maybe 5 or 10 minutes to set everything up, and I'm ready to hit record. Besides that, everything is also out of the way very quickly when I'm not using it. And I don't have a bunch of stands everywhere taking up valuable space on the floor. The Viazon desk mount also has a nice cable management system built in, which keeps things organized and tidy. Recently, I also did a small modification or add-on to this desk mount, which makes it even more versatile, and I'll share that in a little bit, but let's first look at everything else that is mounted on this desk rig. The Viazon kit comes with an arm that has a VESA adapter, and that allows me to mount my monitor, which frees up space on the desk. Plus, it allows me to easily swing the monitor out of the way whenever I want to record product shots or shoot thumbnails. The monitor is an LG 27UL550W, and it's an affordable 4K monitor, and for its price, it has pretty accurate and consistent colors. It's a 27-inch 10-bit IPS panel, and it covers 98% of the sRGB color spectrum, which is fine, but of course specs would be better on a more premium monitor. And on top of the monitor, I have one of the recent additions to this desk setup. This was sent over to me by BenQ, and it's the BenQ Screenbar Halo monitor light. I never really considered a monitor light before, but I actually really love having this, especially because the room light in here is not that pleasant. And I thought about adding a desk lamp, but because the desk is so small, it would take up too much valuable space. Besides that, research has shown that having good light reduces eye strain and fatigue when you're spending a lot of time in front of a screen. So it's important to have equal lighting in front and behind your monitor to reduce contrast, so basically your eyes don't have to work as hard. And that's one of the great things about this BenQ monitor light. Besides the obvious front light, it also has a backlight which lights up the wall behind the monitor. And it doesn't just serve as a nice mood light, but also provides bias lighting, which helps to reduce that contrast between the monitor and the workspace. This BenQ monitor light also has a unique asymmetrical lighting design that completely reduces any glare on the monitor. It was also really easy to install. It has this kind of flexible clip, so you just pop it on top of the monitor. And because of this flexible clip, it will pretty much fit on every kind of monitor, even curved monitors. And it's USB powered, so if your monitor has a USB plug, you could just plug it in there. Another cool little feature is the wireless controller it comes with. You simply hover your hand over it to activate it, and then you can dial in all the different settings, for example, brightness or color temperature. You can also turn on or off each individual light, so you can turn on only the front light, only the back light, or both. But what I really love is that the light bar actually has a built-in sensor, and you can have it adjust all the settings automatically depending on the ambient light. And you can even save your favorite setting with this heart button. So this monitor light is definitely one of the more premium accessories that I currently have on this desk setup, but it does really upgrade my working experience. Alright, next thing that I have mounted on the desk mount is the camera. I'm using the Sony a7 Mark III, and for these YouTube videos I have the Sony 14mm f1.8 G Master mounted on the camera. This lens is of course extremely wide and maybe a little bit overkill, but at the same time I really like that it makes the room look bigger, and I can, for example, include my monitor in the shots, but I do have to make sure that I stay clear of the edges because otherwise the warping gets a little bit too much. But besides that, I really like the look of this super wide shot. And also the f1.8 aperture creates some nice separation between me and the wall, even though I'm only like 50 centimeters or less away from the wall. I usually mount my phone on top of the camera with this very simple smartphone cold shoe mount. That way I have my notes or script close by whenever I'm recording a video. As far as lighting goes, I have two lights lighting me, and then I have two extras to spice up the background. My key light is the newer 480 LED panel light, which is a very affordable small bicolor LED panel light, and it's not super bright, but it gets the job done in this small space. For my talking headshots, I usually have it set at 50%, and for product shots, I do have to crank it up to 100%. The great thing about it is that it's pretty small and lightweight, so it fits nicely on the desk mount. And you can also buy this compact softbox with it, which again takes up a minimum amount of space. So all in all, this light is a good budget option for this type of setup. But a nicer, higher quality upgrade would be, for example, the Falcon Eyes flexible LED panel, but that does come at a much higher price. To fill the other side of my face, I'm using this small cheap bicolor LED light as a fill light. I also use this as extra lighting for product shots, and honestly it works totally fine for this price. I just have it mounted on a small light stand to the side of me here, just out of frame. And then I also have another small light giving color to the background here. This one is a small RGB light that was sent to me by Sandmark quite a while ago, and I really like the solid build quality and the rubber diffuser that it comes with. I just have this mounted on a small tripod, and I set it on the floor behind me pointing at the wall. Lastly, I use this small RGB stick light from Ulanzi as a practical light and to add a touch more color to the shot. This was again super cheap, and it works perfectly fine for having a second RGB light to complement the blue background light. Finally, for sound, I have the Rode Video Micro mounted on the microphone arm that also comes in this Viazon set. And again, this is a budget-friendly but quality microphone option. I just have a 3.5mm audio cable running down the arm and the desk mount, and then I just plug it straight into the Sony's mic input. Alright, now let me show you how I further modified or extended this desk mount to add another function to the entire rig, because I really wanted a low impact and easy way to have colored backdrops for when I'm shooting product B-roll or product thumbnails. And this is what I came up with. I attached a super clamp to the desk mount, and this is just a Manfrotto super clamp. And then I attached this extendable arm to the super clamp. Now I can take a piece of colored paper, clamp it to the arm, and voila, I have a colored backdrop. I'm still experimenting with perfecting this setup, but so far I really like the idea of having this backdrop option added to the desk mount. So far I'm guessing you can tell that I generally really like budget options, but one thing that's a little bit more difficult to go budget on is the computer. I recently upgraded from a 5-year-old MacBook Air to this 14-inch M1 MacBook Pro, and it's a great little machine. And the reason why I don't have a desktop Mac is simply because I want and need the ability to take my computer with me whenever I'm not at home. When I am using it on this desk, it lives in this nice wooden MacBook stand by Calibri, which doesn't just look great, but also helps free up space on the desk by having the MacBook in clamshell mode. My keyboard and mouse are then again budget options. I use the iClever BK10 Bluetooth keyboard, which is just a slim design universal keyboard. It's affordable and had good reviews on Amazon, so I decided to try it out, and so far I'm happy with it. Same story for the mouse. It's an Infic PM6BS Bluetooth mouse that costs $13. It has good Amazon reviews and it's nothing special, but honestly serves its purpose for me. Another really important thing to factor in with a small space like this is storage. Now, I don't have a huge amount of gear, but it's still kind of nuts how much you end up collecting over the years when doing anything camera related, whether it be photography or videography. So pretty much all my gear lives in this IKEA drawer unit. Everything but my camera gear, because that just lives in my camera bag. I have one drawer for things like headphones, clamps, lens cloth, multi-tool, hard drives, another one with more camera gear related things like tripod plates and lens filters, one with some audio and GoPro things, and this one at the bottom stores my old MacBook, a hard drive, and my drone. And then this one in the middle here with the awkward cable I use as a charging drawer. So I have one of these power strips in the drawer, and whenever I need to charge anything, I just plug it in there and close the drawer. So I never have battery chargers or things like that laying around on the desk. They just charge in the drawer and they're out of the way. Now, I realize that it's not the most techy or cool looking solution, but it works, and ultimately that's what matters the most. And I think that kind of sums up what this YouTube studio / desk setup is all about. It's not the fanciest, but it works. And I'm sure that the further I progress in this YouTube journey, that this studio will also evolve with it. And who knows, maybe one day I will be in a bigger studio with a bigger desk. But I hope that this video shows that there are budget solutions for any kind of situation. And you don't necessarily need a big studio with the fanciest gear. At least that's what I think. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!